Well, two of your colleagues from, the Tennessee Three, Representative Justin Pearson and Justin Jones, they were both expelled. They won their seats, in their special elections. But they have faced so much heat from your colleagues. I think we have at least one photo from, last week. This photo just conveys so much tension. Do you think that they have been targeted because they're young Black representatives who are outspoken and they're not afraid to use their voices? Have they been disproportionately targeted by your Republican colleagues over the last few years?
Absolutely. And I absolutely believe that they moved so quickly on this because Justin Pearson was challenging for that District 9 seat. Rep Pearson scares them to death, and so does Rep Jones. And it is these young, brilliant Black men that, let me tell you something about, in addition to being brilliant, here's something these two young Black men also know the Bible backwards and forwards better than any of my Christian Republican colleagues, and they can brutalize them with it on the House floor. And so they are so fearful of these young, bright men with far more knowledge than they could ever hope to have in their lifetimes. And I think that really the fact that Rep Pearson was challenging in that District 9 seat really lit a fire under their butts.
Yeah. So that was the seat that was down in the Memphis area, which is a blue area of the state. It's a heavily African American city. Nashville has a lot of Democrats. Knoxville, where you're at, does too. I know a lot of people have an idea that Tennessee is a red state, but you do have many Democratic voters. What are you hearing from your constituents about this new map that completely erases their voices?
Yeah, well, everybody I talk to is furious. And so my district, I've got a lot of Republicans. I've always been a fight. It's always been a fight in my district. As a matter of fact, the last year, in 2021, they drew my block out of my precinct just to draw my house into the only other Democratic district in Knoxville. So thinking I would challenge the Democrat. Well, that's it's not quite a majority minority district, but it is approaching that. And there was no way I was going to run against one of our Black Democratic members. So I moved 6 blocks into a different district to run in that district. And I've been in this rental house for 3 years now, and the house that I own is just less than a mile away. But they don't like folks who speak out, and I am always speaking out, and they've done their dead level best to get rid of me, and it's not going to happen. I'll go on my terms. But try as they will, you know what? We are able to fight back. We can't write off the South. Tennesseans are fighters, and we're going to continue to fight this. I think that, people were so beat down last week, and we all were, and this is a horrible thing that they've done. But bless their hearts, they're not the sharpest knives in the drawer. And what they've done, potentially, is given us opportunity, because they drew these maps based on the 2024 numbers. Look back at 2018. And so what they've done in a midterm election is perhaps created more potential than they ever imagined for Democrats, especially at a time when this president is so unpopular, when grocery costs are higher than they've been in years, when Tennessee is seeing record electricity bills, utility bills are off the charts in Tennessee. I just paid $50 for a tank of gas. I've never paid that much for a tank of gas. It's been around $30, $35 for me. And so this idea that costs are going up and up and up, the people feel like these maps were not necessary. You know, the Republicans here in Tennessee tried to pretend that this lawsuit meant we had to redraw lines. It meant nothing of the sort. You know, there was no rush to redraw these lines.
Yeah.
There was nothing that said Memphis was drawn incorrectly.
Right.
They took advantage of something they thought they could get away with because they were very fearful that a very intelligent young Black man might become the congressman here, and that made them lose their minds. You should see them on the House floor when either Rep. Jones or Rep. Pearson speaks. It's really something to see how concerned they get, because these young men really hit an issue spot on.
Mm-hmm.
They really understand it. They understand the importance of fighting back. Like, if you notice on some of the things I said on the floor, you saw me say, call it racist. You saw me say white supremacy or white power. And none of my colleagues across the aisle said a word or interrupted. Just a couple minutes after I spoke, Rep. Jones used some of the same terminology. He was objected to and they shut him down.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly showing racism.
Yeah.
You know, my white privilege, they didn't stop me from saying those things,
Right.
but they couldn't hear it from a young Black man.